Hello everyone, welcome to my gardening channel. I just wanted to let you guys know that the video you are about to watch is my June 2022 garden tour. I wanted to include it on my gardening channel, transferred over from my main channel, so that way we would have a reference point on what my garden looked like last year, and as we get started on our 2023 garden, we can look back on it and see what it was and what it is going to be. So if you have watched my main channel, you've probably already seen this, but for anyone else, please enjoy my June 2022 garden tour. Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be different. I am not doing a daily vlog. I really want to record what my garden looks like currently at the beginning of June, so that way I can do a monthly update for the rest of gardening season and kind of compare how things have been growing and like just watch everything get so much more lush. I wish I had started this a month ago when I started this garden, but alas, I only just thought of this. So today's just going to be a garden walkthrough showing you everything that's currently growing, my plans for what I'm going to do after some of these things get pulled, and yeah, we're just going to check on the process or progress of everything. So starting right here on the patio, we have a bunch of random things. I really had no plans to have a bunch of stuff on the patio. I only had plans for the raised garden beds, and then some things I just didn't. I had more than I thought I would have, like tomato plants for instance. I have 2 tomato plants right here that this one is flourishing. I thought it would die for sure in this tiny container, but it didn't. So I'm just letting it do its thing. It even has like some baby tomatoes on there, and eventually maybe I'll put it in a bigger pot. Like I said, I did not plan on having so many tomato plants. That's a little one that's probably not going to last very long. I imagine he's got some root bound issues and stuff, but he's still alive, so I'm keeping him around. Then we've got some baby peppers. I keep some extra plants just in case the ones in the beds do get a little too eaten by bugs or squirrels or whatever it wants to destroy my plants. I keep a little extras already started just in case I need to replace something. I have a kale. This is shallots, I believe. This is a cabbage. This was another one of my randoms that outgrew its cup, so I just threw it in one of these pots. This is calendula that's growing too close together that I should thin out. I've just grown attached to them, so I haven't. Another kale, a small herb garden. I love dill, little parsley, and some cilantro. This monster is my eggplant. He has some flowers on him and nothing has produced eggplants yet, so I'm a little worried about whether or not that's actually going to give me an eggplant, but this plant itself is doing so well. It started just as a small little guy living in the cup holder of my car because my apartment didn't have enough sunlight to keep him in the windsill. So now he is this monster giant plant. He is taller than my 2-year-old. And then the rest of the plants that we have over here, I have some more tomatoes, some here, some here. I don't know the varieties of the tomatoes that I have. I have 2 planted. I have beefsteak tomatoes and I have sweetie tomatoes, which are tiny little cherries, and monster tomatoes. I planted them all, did not label them. For some reason thought they would look different, and they really don't. So I don't know what is planted where. I'm just gonna have to pick them when they turn red and just figure it out as I go. So we have the 2 mystery tomatoes. We have another bucket of onions. I believe these are yellow onions. And I've been trimming back these tops and using them as chives, kind of as I make salads and stuff or need a topping for something. Then we have 2 grow bags of blue potatoes. Another tomato plant here. I think this is gonna be a cherry tomato plant, but if you'll look, we actually already have the starts of tomatoes, so that's gonna be our first thing that we get to pick other than radishes. Which, speaking of, this is my blueberry trough that also has a tomato plant that I've also started planting some radishes around. I like radish because they grow in about 20 to 22, 25 days depending on the variety that you planted, so I just grow radishes wherever I can. They're quick and it's fun for Fievel to pick them. So I have a blueberry bush here. More radishes coming up. I've got a couple carrots in here, some tomatoes, some more radish coming through, more carrots, more radish, more blueberries, and then more radish. And then this garden bed right here is another one that I did not plan out. I wasn't Googling, do cabbage like to grow next to kale or anything like that, and I don't know if these peppers are jalapenos or bell peppers. I just had extras. So I threw everything that I had extra that I didn't want to go to waste into this bed. So we have 3 mystery peppers, 2 kale, and then 2 cabbage. And then right here in this spot, I actually planted some beans recently because they're a nitrogen fixer, and I thought it would also just be nice to have beans. So that's gonna take, I believe it said 50 days on the back of the package, and that should put them out around mid-August. And then underneath the screen here, I just have a bunch of kale plants. I also have some rosemary, and then this is a marigold that I started from seed, but the rest of this is just some marigolds that I purchased and kale. This is my absolute favorite part of the garden because this is my pumpkin patch, and I'm just kind of figuring this out as I go. I really thought it would be more difficult to grow pumpkins from seed, and it was actually way easier because they are just taking over. So I have 2 pumpkin plants. I have one here and one here, and they are just going crazy. I'm just gonna let them do whatever they do, and if I get a pumpkin, that's great. I have some marigolds I started from seeds right here. I put them in when the pumpkins were much smaller, so the pumpkins are kind of overcrowding, but it's fine, it's whatever. I also have a watermelon here. Like I said, if I get a watermelon, that's great. If I don't, I won't be mad about it. This is my first year gardening. And then of course we have more tomatoes. So we have this one right here, and then 2 in some grow containers back here. On my back fence, I'm really hoping that these vining blackberries are going to fill in the gaps and cover up this hideous barbed wire fence that I have. I love the way that this bush looks, and I'm hoping that this is going to take over because they're supposed to be pretty invasive, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And now we can go back to the garden beds. I really wanted to film this a little bit sooner than I am now because I have actually pulled so many radishes. I think I've had about 13 now. These are the cherry and champion variety. So they grow super fast. I just have a couple stragglers still here that weren't quite big enough to pick. But in their place, after I pull these radish up, I'm putting more beans. I actually have already planted them and they haven't germinated yet, but they're gonna have beans, and then we have basil, and then we have 4 plants that I'm pretty sure are bell peppers. And then here I have carrots. I was trying to stick to square foot gardening, which is you break everything up into a square foot, and then you see how many you can plant per square foot based on like Googling it. That's how I've been doing it anyway. So they are growing pretty close together, but the internet told me that that's okay. So if you're worried about it, like I was when they started getting a little bit bigger, apparently this is just fine. Over here, we kind of have a mess of things. So we have 3 big tomato plants that I'm almost positive are beefsteak tomatoes, but I'm not sure. And then down here, I grew a little bit of basil. This is just something that I put in here because there was room, and I heard that tomatoes like growing near basil. I also have just a few straggler carrots. Like this one doesn't look like he's gonna do too great, but just filling in the spaces and getting what I can get. Right here I planted a bean, and then I have some basil. I have a jalapeno plant, I think, and then some more miscellaneous carrots. I tried to plant things like in groups, like throughout the weeks, so nothing grows all at the same time. So the carrots that you're seeing in this bed are probably planted like weeks behind the carrots you're gonna see in another bed. The carrots that I put in the blueberry container, that is carrots that I planted very recently. So I should get like 10 carrots here, 10 carrots there, 10 carrots here, instead of like 50 carrots all at once. And then this bed is one that should be ready to harvest soon. I just have some marigolds, and then all of these are watermelon radish, which take a lot longer than the cherry and champion variety. So I don't know if I'm going to be growing those again because they just feel like they're taking up way too much space for something that I'm not even going to enjoy that much more than the other radish variety, if I'm just being honest. But if you peek in here, I also have some green onions from the grocery store. When you cut the tops off green onions from grocery stores, you can replant them and just grow more green onions. And so that's what I did. And then I don't know if you guys noticed, but this right here is not a radish. This is actually a basil plant that I have no clue how he got in there, but he's really healthy and doing well. So I'm just letting him grow, and then once all these radish come up, he'll have more space. I haven't decided what I'm going to put here after I pull the radish, so I should probably start figuring that out soon. But over here we have some more carrots, just a couple. These are ones that I started in growing trays, and they don't like to be transferred very much. So I had a lot more carrots in this, and these are the ones that are just left over that survived. And then over here we have some white onions, and the same with these onions. I use the tops in place of chives or green onions in recipes sometimes. So it's a nice, while I wait for onion bulbs, little treat. And then this last bed over here, it's just cabbage. I did have to pull one that was looking really sad, so I think I'm gonna put another bean bush over here in between them. But I have cabbage, 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 more marigolds, and then this is a grow bag full of sweet potatoes. So if you don't have actual grow bags like these ones. They can be kind of expensive, but not really. I had this Aldi bag that had a hole in it, so I just cut some more holes in it, and this does the same thing as a grow bag. It just looks a little uglier. So I've got sweet potatoes. And then the very last thing I wanted to show you is how I've been watering my garden. We've been getting a lot of rain off and on, so I invested in a rain barrel. Hooks up to my gutters, and this is how I can water my massive garden. Well, it's not really massive, but to me it is, without spending a bunch of money watering it with my hose, because that would be like multiple gallons of water a day on the hot days of summer. So I just put my watering can underneath here and I water my garden with rainwater. And on top of here we just have more basil. And that, my friends, was my garden tour. Unfortunately, I didn't have anyone to like film me doing it. I kind of had to do it myself, like, so I'm not in the video as much. I hope you guys didn't think that was super boring, but some of you are really interested in seeing my garden grow, and I am so happy to have you guys around watching this with me, giving me advice and tips and stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching another video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another daily vlog.